All right, let's see. I just have a little follow-up part two to the to this assignment. I just kind of did in my video. I kind of looked at my GD&T symbols and I kind of thought about them a little bit, and I was like, I got to meditate on them a little bit. And so yeah, I had to think about this, and I can't say I have it perfectly figured out. But what I do like, I really think the way that original CAD drawing was whether this is correct to just be able to point to it. I think it can be. Um, I'm just going to make a small adjustment here. Um, and at least I'm going to control. I mean, I still have some questions here. It's this symbol specifically, right? So what I think I'm going to do is kind of refer to my page 447 in my textbook, and it has what's going on. There's several different ways of expressing perpendicularity for sure. And so I think I what I think the design wants me to do is to ensure that this is perpendicular to this surface datum surface B here. That uh, my smaller diameter protrusion here is perpendicular, and and so the way I think I'm going to express this, I'm going to just change it a little bit. It's kind of a subtle change here, but I think I'm going to pull this dimension out. So it's kind of cutting across some leader line here. And ultimately, I think I want to apply this symbol to this dimension. And it's just kind of like I'm following the figures from 13.55 in our textbook, where I think this is kind of what the best way to apply this perpendicular relationship. So, I mean, there are some reasons why I wouldn't. So what I'm expressing is I need it perpendicular to datum B with this tolerance, 10 thousandths. Um, and it's a diameter tolerance. So when I was thinking about that, I came over to my part and I drew a sketch on the end here where kind of some of this is taking place. And all I'm saying is if I go into my sketch is that I have a 10 thousandths tolerance zone that's cylindrical in shape that I'm allowed to vary how perpendicular I am to this surface B here. And so I guess, once I finish this, I was actually just going to do like an extrude cut here just for to this surface. And so really I have this tolerance zone that goes down and through my part like this at 10 thousandths diameter. And I need to maintain that the axis of this essentially uh, from one end to the other doesn't deviate from that little envelope that we've created in there for the axis of this part to live. If it deviates beyond this, I think I'll have a misalignment or my part will not be manufactured correctly. So I do think I'm just going to attach it to that dimension that is controlling the dimension of this, that 0.625 dimension. I'm just going to I mean, this feature, I'm controlling the outside surface with the concentricity form control. Oh, the cylindricity. Sorry, not concentric. Concentric is another thing that we're kind of evaluating here too. But I'm already at least controlling the outer form of this protrusion with the cylindricity form control at 5 thousandths that it has to be in. That's just going to be measured from its outside here. And so what I'm looking at now, above and beyond just that it's cylindrical in nature, is that the axis of this particular part is perpendicular to this surface to within this 10 thousandths diameter tolerance zone. So it does give it does give the axis of this some play, bouncing from side to side as it passes through here slightly at an angle in kind of a bunch of different directions because of it being a cylindrical tolerance zone. Instead of being, if I had a non-cylindrical symbol in front of my tolerance on perpendicularity, I would be kind of expressing a plane of perpendicularity, like two planes that far apart. But that's not what I'm doing here. I think this is definitely better. A GD&T to control this is through its axis and through perpendicularity of its axis to this particular surface datum. So that's so then so the let me go back and just fix that one. And then above and beyond that, that's how we're controlling its relationship to datum B. And then we additionally control um, its which it's the orientation to datum B that we're controlling, right? Perpendicularity is an orientation control. So it's controlling the orientation of this axis to B, this particular feature. Then we're going to apply a concentricity GD&T control, and that's going to control the location of this particular protrusion to datum A, which I've put my datum A as the center axis of really the entire part, or at least it's through here, based off this diameter actually, because it is a an orientation. Oh, sorry, my datum is just hooked to the dimension for this overall diameter. So it really doesn't. I mean, I think the reason why I'm additionally applying a concentric control to this is because datum A really is based off of the 1 1/8 dimension, right? It's driven by that, or it's controlling that, and uh, and all I'm doing is saying, hey, I've got this other feature of this part that's only 0.625 in diameter, and I need it to be concentric to that datum that really is the axis of a 1 1/8 area of this part, or I guess, the feature of the part there. So, long story short, I like both of I just need to do maybe, I'm just going to do a slight modification with how it sits with the dimension and maybe make it a little clearer. To me, this might be legit how I have it, but so I'm just going to cancel that. That just shows me that's the little tolerance window that I'm working with for that axis, according to that perpendicularity with a diameter tolerance called out. So I can cancel that for a minute. Just go back over here to where I think I just want to hook these together and have it be this, and just pointing to the dimension might be. I just can't find the textbook where that's okay. And so I would just be careful because it just is so critical where your feature control frames, interact with the dimensions and the surfaces. Like it really, makes a difference. And a small error causes major confusion. And so this could be right how I had it originally. I'm not going to make this I argue that I can make it a basic dimension, but maybe it's not that I'm going to control that diameter as much as I'm controlling how perpendicular that diameter becomes, and how perpendicular that feature becomes. That's really based off that diameter size wise, and how concentric it is. I'm not trying to apply GD&T to the controls of the diameter. I'm going to let my general tolerance block cover my tolerance that's allowed for this dimension here. So I'm not going to make it a basic dimension. So these are just some things I've thought about for just to wrap this up. So I moved this up and beyond. I know I'm crisscrossing some. That's okay. Um, I'm just going to do it because I feel like it's like still GDT. I'll get rid of this one. I'll just reapply it to this actual dimension here, which maybe it has a grip for it. I don't know. Is that it? I think we've learned they're kind of like, I think it is the same one that's applied. So I'll say, okay. I still didn't look up whether or not the stack order here. I definitely know the precedence order out this way is going to have a precedence on which datum and how I'm inspecting my parts by that particular order. As far as stacking one over the other, I still did. I forgot to look up if that is also applying precedence. So I'm going to keep them in the same orientation. I'm going to keep this the same. So what I'm just saying is, yes, I like these. I think they make sense to me now. This has the same, yeah, this location control is a diameter of 10 thousandths that I can be. So it's really the same envelope almost as this, the axis of of this particular part. Yeah, is kind of following the same little envelope in relationship to datum A, though. So I'm concentric through the entire part and specifically as I'm also perpendicular to datum B. And so now as I kind of say that in my head, I do feel like maybe A does take the precedence because I feel like, okay, maybe if the stack order takes precedence, then maybe I'm going to consider the concentric nature of this particular kind of feature, this dimension, um, related to this dimension here. This feature, I think maybe the concentric one would be first. Like I'm going to make sure that I'm going to check that, inspect that first. Are they concentric? Okay, good. Now, if they're concentric through there, then I'm going to say, are they perpendicular? Is it perpendicular to B? And I don't know. I can't decide that one is more. They're just they're totally two different evaluations to two different datums. And so I feel like that's why I don't have a precedence order, but I could be wrong. So whether I change it or not, I'm still kind of up and down on, but I am going to at least do that. So I'll just at least say okay. And then let's see if I can orient this thing to where if I move this dimension. Yeah, I don't think I'm snap. Yeah, I am snapped to my dimension. Okay, if I move it over here like this, I can shorten that up a little bit. So now I'm hooking to the dimension. I could apply the plus and minus tolerance there at least, but it's applied in my drawing. So I can probably slide this over a little bit here now. Not that far though. Sorry, don't do all this. I'm just kind of looking for my grip here. There it is. So there's that. So maybe I'm going to place that as close to that as I can, and then I will now move this over. And a little bit of space between that datum. Yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, that's such a small adjustment, but it just maybe this sits a little bit better with me. And I just wanted to wrap that up. So I'm just going to leave mine at this point now, and yeah, okay, that's it for my